Hi everyone. Today let's do a quick pre-market update. You can see the charts are basically sideways, but let's take a look at them as well as a couple other plays potentially for today's markets. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So looking at the SPY charts here on the hourly, you can see in the pre-market we're actually falling a little bit off of those highs. We're getting a little bit further away from the trend. That was the resistance in here around 606.50, but right now we're falling into that open 21 EMA there at 603.34. Watching this zone. If it falls from there, we're probably looking at about another 1/3% down to that 55 EMA at 601.50. Those are the critical points for me. And then if this structure starts to change, that's going to push us down to that 599.64 area. We've been watching that as a critical zone. You can see we came up, rejected from it, pushed through it, retested this zone, continuation higher, still very much an uptrend, but this 21 EMA looks like it's about to break here in the pre-market. Closing basis, not quite yet, definitely getting tested already in markets. Momentum bearish, RSI bearish. Seems like we're getting a little bit of a pullback here early in the session. And then moving over here to the Tasty charts, you're seeing that same kind of falling price action. Obviously, we're through the 21 here on the hourly. On the Tasty charts, looking at that 34 EMA down at 602.72, and then the 55, just like we talked about, 601.90. ATR support at 602.07. Again, still very much up and to the right here for markets, but if we do get into that 55 EMA, that would put us into bearish conditions. Then you would expect sells on the retracement, and then the continuation lower, ultimately down to that 89 EMA, which is sitting around that 654 level right here. And then just below that, like we talked about on the previous charts, is that 599.50 area. So a couple of levels in here. That's what I would be looking for. So you would see something like this, take out the ATR trailing stop, hold support, retracement. You did get the lower high here, but we ended up holding that higher low. Typically on a downtrend or a change of structure, this lower high would result in a lower low, and then you would get this kind of trending action off of that. So we'll see how it plays out. For now, we're definitely seeing some pullbacks. If the higher low holds and the ATR trailing stop holds, then we should be in good shape for a higher high. Moving over to the NASDAQ here on the hourly chart, you can see pretty much the same thesis. Got into the zone of resistance, didn't quite hit that upper trend. That was a bearish indicator. Big wick rejection ahead of the trend. We were watching it here, and then you can see consolidation, sideways choppy, and then the same down candle that we were looking at on the SPY charts. 21 EMA in there at 513.99. Testing that now. We'll see if that ends up holding. Momentum very bearish, RSI very bearish. So I would expect this to pull back at least a little bit more down into that 512 area. And then we'll see if that ends up holding. 55 is all the way down here in this zone of trend support between that 510 and 511 area. Again, this falling price action seems to be accelerating here in the market open, but it still could hold this trend support and then still look for a higher high push up into that 518 area. Certainly a possibility, but in the short term, seems like we're getting a little bit of a retracement of yesterday's move, which is pretty aggressive here on the NASDAQ. And then looking at the Tasty charts here, you can see we were very extended on the hourly chart. Made sense to get that pullback in time, as well as pullback in price here on the market open. ATR trailing stop is very, very tight at 513.05. We'll see if this zone ends up holding or not. Otherwise, your next zone for me is going to be that 55 at 511.22. Again, watching this zone pretty critically. Bought here, held the retracement, continuation move. Now we're going to see if this higher low sets up and continues this up into the right price action that we've been seeing. I just wanted to highlight this. We did talk about it in yesterday's video as well. Rallied right to this zone of resistance, expected the rejection. We're getting a little bit of a rejection. 8 EMA in there as well at 513.82 on the 4-hour. Is it going to hold in here? Seems a little bit of a shallow pullback, but it's not impossible. And it's definitely a zone to watch in the pre-market and into the open. And then just a quick look at the Russell. You can see sideways choppy action here for 4 days in a row. We're still holding support at 241.05. Tested it yesterday, bounced from that level. Looks like we're probably going to test it once again. If we close below it, your next level is all the way down at 238.02. So watching this level very, very closely, waiting to see if this structure in here breaks or not. And like I said yesterday, we did cut pretty deep before we ended up getting the rally out. The other concern here is the fact that all these short-term EMAs and SMAs have consolidated in this area, giving a pretty much free run to the downside until we hit that 144 all the way down at 238.02. Then moving over here to Unity Software, got asked about this one, so we threw some structure on it. We were watching this downtrend. This is what I already had, this downtrending structure, and then you saw a little bit of a bull flag type setup, but we had a fake out breakout to the downside, held support in here, rallied out. Now we're back into this kind of trending action here. Want to see this trend continue to hold. You got the 9 EMA in there at 22.96. Trend support in here around 22.83. Want to see this zone in here hold if it's going to do it. Momentum is starting to fade a little bit. RSI almost overbought conditions. Might see a little bit of pullback in time. Higher low setup in here. Support for me 22.12 just below the trend. Want to see this consolidation highs hold. And if it does, you could see a pretty dramatic push actually to this upper trend line up in here around the 33 area. That would obviously be a really substantial move of about 44% or so. Definitely could be a move that we've seen before where you get a move like this, rally up, hold the trend line in here, get that continuation style move of about 47%. So that's the big hope if you're trying to trade this stock, in my opinion. Might consolidate, might pull back a little bit, might even push back to this kind of consolidation of EMAs in here around 22.13, 200 sitting there 21.02, which would give you a downward potential of around 11 to 12%. Obviously a very volatile stock here on Unity, but this is what I'd be looking for. Want to see some of these zones hold, with the lowest being that consolidation of EMAs and SMAs, retest of the SMA on the RSI, and then hopefully get that bigger push up to the trend line here. Moving over to ULTA Beauty, got asked about this one a while ago, and we said if this trend line held, we should be in good shape. You can see we got another retest of that trend, touched that level, big wick rejection off of the trend, oversold conditions there, and since then we've had a really strong rally out of it of around 18%. Can we break out from this consolidation base? I would guess that we can, and this could be one of those longer term style moves where you get a breakout of the base, where you get a run of like 40% or so. If you did get a base breakout, 40% run would take you up to basically these previous highs from that mid-March timeframe back in the 550, 560 area, or about another $160 or potentially on this stock. You have the 200 sitting there, my level 404.99. It's basically the consolidation high. I've tested that a couple times. You do have the low, higher low setup. You do have volume coming through on those rallies. Somebody is definitely acquiring a position here in my opinion. This seems like one of those kind of moves where you could get a medium term move. And you can see here this run did take about 140 days or so. So if we did get a move like that over the next 140 days, that would take you out to April of next year. But certainly a potential move, something to watch there. ULTA Beauty definitely showing a strong base, continuation style move. Once we get this breakout, I think it'll be very good. Next up, we got SMCI. We talked about this in yesterday's video, but in case you missed it, really strong move here. Big rejection. We got the catalyst of a new accountant here with SMCI. Big momentum, huge volume yesterday. It's up pre-market. Let's look at it here on the hourly. You can see rallied up a little bit more. This trend is what we're watching. Want to see it pull back, test VWAP, test 21 EMA, kind of culminate this momentum move that we're seeing here into the end of the session yesterday, pre-market this morning, hold the higher low, get that rally up through to that 49.89 area, and then see a potential push to that 63 area. That's really what I would want to see. So looking for about a 6 to 7% down move in the pre-market, and then if we can get the rally out, that would be about another 55% to that next level. That's really what I want to see. Pull back, establish the higher low, maybe even retest this previous high at 38.50. That would be interesting. 55 EMA comes up to meet it. 55 holds, get the continuation style move, push through these levels. That would be an absolutely magical move here for SMCI, in my opinion. That's what I would like to see. So SMCI definitely finding some strength. You can see multiple times rally up, consolidation, higher low setup, rally up, retest that previous high, 144 EMA, starts to rally out of that area, big consolidation, push out, continuation to that higher high. Now we're starting to see that structure form. Want to see it one more time, higher low, bigger push out. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of the charts. Are there any plays you're looking for? Do you like any of these plays? Let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice, all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.